blending lab. So in level 4 blending lab, we began to use the essential oils and the bases, the natural bases, but in replacement of many of the medications that the side effects are too great. So here's where we give an option. So today we're going to be blending the clay. First I'm going to turn the small camera on to catch the action. As I blend the clay, I will let you know some of the things that we're able to use it. Just like we did in blending lab 1, remember we used bentonite and EPK to replace toothpaste. And that's an excellent toothpaste for bleeding gums and sore teeth and sore gums and so forth. So, but now we're going to be using the EPK, which is kaolin clay, and bentonite and green clay together in making a clay that is very effective for acne, very effective for shingles, very effective for firming of any area that is flabby, so it's great for the skin. Remember that when we use a clay in skincare, we follow it with the skincare oil. And that is to balance the dryness that is caused by the clay. So we want to balance it, and also to nourish the skin while it's actually clean. Because as a exfoliator, we are actually taking toxins from the skin. And that's, actually you can feel that, you can see that. And when you use it as a firming clay, you can actually see and feel the difference and see it in 30 days. And that one we do an application every day. But we're going to cover a little more of that once we finish blending it. So let's begin to blend a standard skincare clay and the reasons why. We begin with, we want to put the water in first. That way we're assured that it's going to be mixing. And you know, of course, it's filtered water. You don't want to use any water from the sink because of the chemicals in water. So you want to be able to charcoal filter your water. I'm going to be using more of the EPK than the bentonite. The bentonite is much more exfoliating. It's much more harder, so it sucks up more toxins than the EPK. But the EPK is softer. It's like a cream. You can actually make it into a cream that is absorbed, and that's what we want to do here. Now, if I were to be making clay to reduce sebaceous growth, which the clays that we make are very effective. I mean, we actually can see the reduction within a few days to a couple of weeks. So if I were to be making that type of clay that I need more exfoliation, I will use more of the bentonite, which is the green clay. But what I'm really concerned right now is actually the penetration of the clay and the firming of the clay. So I'm going to be, of course, using more of the EPK, so it will be more pliable, as you will see it. Now you see that cloud of dust that is happening? You really don't want to inhale that. That has silica, and it's very toxic. Well, not very toxic, but toxic, cumulative, if you inhale this all the time. So you want to wear some type of cover, some type of handkerchief over your nose. Once the cloud is gone, then I'm able to move into this area and continue to work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to put a little more clay because I have a lot of water there. Now, the bentonite, I'm going to use very little, and that helps me firm up the clay. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bentonite, maybe less than a quarter of what I already used. Anything else, and it's okay to have a spill, it happens in blending. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down. A mixer is what you need in a dedicated mixer. We did cover in other blending lab, but it's good to point out that this is your best cleaner, apple cider vinegar. So this blender or any utensils that we use for blending has never seen food. You don't need an elaborate blender, although it's nice because it's a faster work, but it's costly. I use a $40 blender, $35 blender for many years, and it's easy for me to carry to classes. And once again, the important thing is that it has a motor that it turns the ball, and it's great if the ball is glass. That's your best bet. So I'm going to, and this is a cleansing. So no detergent have seen any of these parts. No soap detergents have seen any of that. Just water is what I have been rinsing with. And then I apply this and final rinse with this, which is antibacterial, antiviral, so that's our cleaning for our utensils. So now I'm going to go ahead, before I turn it on, I'm going to select the oils. I'm going to have tea tree, antifungal. So I'm going to add this tea tree here. And first, you're cooking Italian, so but if you will be able to smell it and to see the oils that you have here, and put a little more if you like to. But I will begin with 20 drops of tea tree. Remember, they're concentrated. Now, geranium rose, its property is that it balances the sebaceous gland. So it also has a very nice relaxing aroma. And in skincare, that's what it's used. So oily areas and dry areas, the product can be used if you add geranium rose. So we're going to add geranium rose. And we're going to do like 10 drops of geranium rose because it's very dominating. Of course, one of the ones we're going to use is lavender. Lavender is, as you know by now, is the one that we use for many things, mostly because it has excellent properties for antibacterial, antivirals, antiseptic, rush of circulation to the area. So at the same time, you're using essential oils that are antibacterial, antivirals, antiseptics. So if somebody's getting a cold, just putting this clay on, the inhalation of these oils are medicinal in that area. So I'm going to put about 40 drops of lavender. Lavender, we want it to be primary. And in the level 4 of the practitioner, we're able to cover how we use lavender to reduce tumors. And we have seen this. Of course, this is anecdotal information, but it began in 1993 when we heard from the National Cancer Institute that parallel alcohol from lavender reduces tumors in rat 87 to 90%. So we began to use common sense and advise those who have breast tumors to begin to apply ACAM lavender in their tumors 3 times a day. And we're able to say now, with no problem, if you're using the lavender that I use, you're able to tell someone that in 7 days of this type of application, we have seen the tumor reduce 45 to 50%, and in 45 days we have seen it gone. Now, of course, you have to pay attention to also the foods, which we pay attention a little more in level 4, because it's how you feed a condition and how you can starve it. I know we've been saying that all through the course, but that is one of the 4 areas of good health. So not just by applying something, we're doing our job. It's actually, we have to cover those 4 areas to do it correctly. In skincare, this will do a job, but not as fiberglass insulation is falling on the skin every night, which we covered that in level 1, sick building syndrome. So, we have to cover the air, the water, the products, the meds, and the foods that we eat. So this is one of those products that is very beneficial to people that have acne, that have shingles. In the case of shingles, and this is where a doctor sends somebody, or I'll ask you what you have for shingles, because we consult through education. We do not practice touching people unless you have a license in your country, in your state, to do so. So in my area, and I live in the United States, in Miami, Florida, in my area, we're able to educate, and that's where we do the practice. Those who have gone through the course that has a medical license is able then to treat and diagnose. So in the education, when a doctor has asked me in the past, what do we have for shingles, this is the clay that we have made, and this is what we have seen in one case. Where the shingle sores were oozing, it was open, and it was in the chest area, and other shingles in the face and so forth. And upon application of the clay, the itching went away, and the pain began to cease. And the next day, the sores would close. That's what we have seen. So it takes an application nightly, about 24 to 72 hours, and begins to see results. If the person applies it when it begins to flare up, then it dries it up right away. The only thing that we want to tell the individual is when you put the clay on the shingle sore and you take a shower, do not scrub it out. It's like a bandage. It will fall out by itself. You just towel dry and reapply it, but you leave it there. And because if you scrub it out, you're going to to hurt the area. So it's one of those things that is like a bandage, and then you can take a shower and reapply it. So that's how we use it for shingles. And lavender is one of them that goes in most of the things that we do because of the properties that it has. Now, since I mentioned shingles, I'm going to add to this cedarwood atlas. Cedarwood atlas, as we learned, takes away the itching. So, and it will work excellent as an acne. It will work excellent as a skin clay or as a firming clay. But as I'm going to make it for all type of use, I'm going to go ahead and add cedarwood atlas. Now I can go ahead and have the properties of an anti-itching. I'm looking for one that will give me a preservative of skin tissue, which is myrrh. So we're going to go ahead and look for myrrh, which is around here somewhere. Okay, here we go. And myrrh is anti-putrid. We use it in skincare. We cover it in the level 2 with the essential oil, so I'm going to add. And this one, you only need to add just about 4 drops or 6 drops in all this batch. So now we have a blend that is multi-use, but it's definitely a firming blend. Let's begin to blend. It's good to have a wooden spoon. See, I can see I put too much water in there, so I'm going to put a little more clay. We're going to make a lot of clay today, which is good because we can always use it. And it keeps very nice in the refrigerator. Okay, walk away from that cloud. Because you don't want to inhale that. Okay, now it's getting a little thicker. You'll be able to see a closer look when we also include this video, the close-up video, so you can see a little better how this is blending. But you wanted to have it like very smooth application, so it goes in like a cream. Put a little water, a little, too thick, just a little water. You can do this by hand, but it's very hard because you won't get the clay so smooth like you need to. You can do it with a handheld blender or mixer. But once again, it's going to be clay everywhere against the wall and you. And the best thing to do is to begin to look for a dedicated blender that you can go ahead and use for this only. And this is an excellent base to make many products. The Bentonite or EPK clay, the best suppliers are the ceramic suppliers in your area, rather than any of the health stores. And mostly because the clay to make ceramic, it has to be pure. It can't be mixed with anything. So when you get EPK or Garland clay or Bentonite from the suppliers, it's going to be their purest clay. And also it's going to be the least expensive price. In my area, clay, if you buy 25 pounds at a time, you're talking about 50 cents a pound. Of course, they charge you as much for the shipping because it weighs. But it's a beautiful product at a great price, and it does a lot of benefit. If you go, well, where we go and where the supplier that we use is Axner Clay Company. Axner, A-X-N-E-R, Clay Company. And I think that you can also get them to ship them to your country. I know in the United States anyone can get it, but I think they will also ship overseas. So you can give them a try, or you can actually check in your area. I mean, this is volcanic clay. It should be everywhere. Okay, now it's looking like we want it to look. Is it smooth? I'm going to kick it up a notch. Stand back because without a guard, this will splash. Part of the joy of blending. What we're doing is taking any little lumps out. And it's so smooth that we're able to apply it like a cream. And it's getting there. Now, you see how smooth? See, it needs to go like a cream. And then it will penetrate into the pores. If it's a very thin layer that is needed. And in that thin layer, you have that penetration, you have the exfoliation, and you have the firming. So this has been proven very effective as a firming clay for any areas of firming. In this area, for the breast, underneath the breast, to firm the breast. Remember, it's also draws out toxins. So this is a great clay to use in the, as a regular treatment for the breast. Once again, another excellent use is to firm up, especially the neck. Apply this thin layer and let it dry, and just wash it out. And then follow it with a drop of the skincare oil that we have made in the blending labs. So this is a clay. Those are the oils. Of course, you can do the clay if you only have lavender. Of course, you can do the clay if you only have a couple of oils. I just wanted to use a combination of oils to give you an idea, but a product that is able to be used for acne, for shingles, for firming. So it's an all-around product. The shelf life is pretty much forever. All it's going to lose is the moisture, and all we need to add is the water back, and then it revives it. So that's what the clay is all about. Thank you for joining us. Like always, if you have any questions, we have office hours on now Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So give us a call or email us, and we like to keep in communication. Education, we need to inform, and we need to keep you informed. So thanks again for joining. Thanks again for your trust and in the plant-based system, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again.